Jimin's point of view. Present. Jimin. Stupid girl and her stupid smile. I huffed, walking down the empty corridor to get to my class as quickly as possible. Thank God, the professor spared me and didn't take any action about the fight. That bastard deserved it anyway. I clenched my fists, feeling my blood boil as his words echoed in my head. And you just called her stupid. You said you don't care about her. A mocking voice resonated in the back of my head, and I hissed to myself, Jimin, I don't. I don't care about Lee Wyan. You don't, Jimin, right? I tried to find the answers to my doubts instead of focusing on my class. And that was absolutely not because of a certain violet haired girl with those lilac highlights. The one that has hijacked my thoughts for the past 6 months. The girl who loves to dance and frowns, biting her lip when she has trouble understanding a concept. The girl who loves to dress prettily, who smiles even prettier and flirts with me like the cheeky brat she is. The thought made me smile despite myself. Don't forget the tear, Jimin. You are just a source of entertainment for her. Still are, right? I reminded myself, sitting in the back of the lecture hall, Professor Min's words long tuned out, though it didn't seem reassuring to even myself. Hi, pretty boy. I look up and push back my glasses as Ryan sits down on the chair beside me. Placing the bookmark, I shut my book and turn toward her. Jimin, you are 7 minutes late. I cross my arms and look at her sternly, and this cheeky brat just smiles sweetly. Placing a hand on her chest, she bats her eyelashes at me. Wine. Oh, were you waiting, counting each second for me? She coos and leans forward to boop my nose, and I sigh, refraining from rolling my eyes. I would have shooed her away if not for the pretend game we were playing. Girlfriend? Fake girlfriend? I have never hated the word so much before. Holding her wrist, I put her hand on the table and slide the test paper I made for her toward her. Jimin, solve this in 30 minutes. It's based on the concepts we revised yesterday. I nod my head toward the paper and she pouts at me. One, you're no fun, boyfie. She deliberately mocks but takes the test nevertheless. And I suck in a sharp breath, pinching the bridge of my nose. I have never valued patience so much before I met this girl. I pick up my book, hoping to finish at least a page, before she pokes me as expected. Looking up, I see the cheeky smile as she points at the question. Wine. I forgot this concept. Could you explain it to me again, pretty boy? I shake my head, and she squints her eyes at me. I know she is lying. In the 2 months I have spent tutoring her, I have learned she is a fast learner, but very uninterested in studying. I don't think I would say this, but I am proud of her for the way her grades have improved so much. Jimin, try to recall. If you still don't remember, skip it for now and solve what you know. I'll explain later. I expect her to protest, but surprisingly, she nods and continues with the test. When she is done, I check her test, and most of the questions are correct, and explain the ones that she doesn't understand. More than once, I catch her staring at me. Any normal person would look away or be embarrassed, but Lee Wyan is not normal, so she winks at me, and I have to avert my gaze, trying to downplay the heat creeping up on my neck. Wyan, I still don't get it, she sighs, biting her lips to suppress the twitch, and I catch the mischief twinkling in her eyes. I entertain her and explain it again, hoping it would be the last time as my patience is now running thin. When I'm done, I look at her to find her shaking her head at me, and she smiles mischievously. Jimin. Okay, now stop playing, Wyan. I snap, dropping the pen on the table. She flinches a little, and her smile falls. A few heads turn our way, and I find the librarian glaring at us, and I bow my head apologetically. I look at Ryan to see her quietly jotting down the answer on the test paper. We don't speak for the rest of the session, except for me explaining the concepts. She doesn't even ask the doubts she would usually ask, just to annoy me a little. Did I go too far? When we are done studying, she packs up quietly and we walk out of the library together, my hand lacing with hers on instinct, playing the part of the hottest or sweetest couple on campus, as they have started calling us. But deep down, I know that's not the only reason. The arrangement required me to do things out of my comfort zone, holding hands and acting like a couple in public. I did as much as I could. But why does it feel so natural now? This isn't real. Then why is my instinct to move her to the inside of the sidewalk when we walk home? She doesn't speak the rest of the way, and soon we have to part on the street. It doesn't feel right. Her silence is infuriating me. Wasn't I the one who always complained for her to keep quiet? She turns around without saying bye. Without saying something cheeky like, don't miss me too much, or dream about me, pretty boy. If the me from 6 months ago could see the choice I make next, he would lose his mind. I start walking behind Wyan at a distance, following her path home. I shouldn't care. I don't. It's just humanity to see if she reaches home safely. As a classmate, a friend, it's okay to see so. Another excuse, another lie. Jimin? And did you just say friend? My subconscious mocks. Shut up. And his back to no one in particular. Where is she going? I mutter to myself to see her crossing the road and taking the opposite street from where her home actually is. Don't ask how I know. I may or may not have followed her home more than once to see if she reached safely. Human decency. Yes, and not because you have started caring for her, huh? I curse under my breath and frown as she walks closer to the Ilwan Row 14 Gill Street. Turning right, I hear the gravel crunching under my shoes as she walks into the Blue Flower Park. Surprise was an understatement to see the ever so put together Levian in a small park tucked in the corner of this narrow street. The chaos of the traffic is a distant reality as the whiff of homemade kimchi and roasted sesame oil hits my senses. I hide myself behind the ancient ginkgo tree, which must have seen better days and so many more monsoons than me. Wine dusts the crooked bench and places her bag on it. She looks so out of place yet fitting. A juxtaposition. Her Chanel sweater and cargo pants with those designer shoes. She didn't wear one of her sparkly mini skirts today. A beauty in the middle of the old park that has mismatched chairs left behind perhaps by elderly people in the neighborhood, rusted slides and faint murmurs of the old songs playing on the radio. A few minutes pass, and a sudden happy screech pulls my attention from Ryan's face. I hear giggles and running footsteps. One by one, a few children run toward her, calling out her name, and my breath hitches as I see a wide smile forming on her face. Unguarded, soft, and so gleeful. Her eyes crinkle at the corners, and her two front teeth stand out like a bunny's, which makes my own lips twitch. The kids, barely 10-12-year-olds, I assume, throw their arms around her and circle her as if she is their princess. She might as well be, my spoiled princess. She asks them something, which they answer with joyful smiles of their own. Nodding her head, she claps her hand and gestures to them to perhaps stand in positions as they began taking their own spots. Next, she picks up her phone and plays something. I could faintly hear the song. The kids cheer and she chuckles, tying her hair up in a bun, yet a few stubborn tresses fall on her face. My heart skips a beat as she starts to move. The night in the club flashes before my eyes, but what I am seeing right now is completely different. The Ryan I saw, I know, or so I thought, was cheeky, flirty, and maybe spoiled, who didn't care about others' feelings because I have always seen her indulging in games with her friends. I had seen her putting people in their places without a doubt if they pissed her off. I have seen her dozing off in the classes or never attending one, not caring about her grades until 2 months ago. And in front of me right now, the girl dancing is such a contrast. She dances with joy, her smile just shows that. The kids copy her movements and she corrects them gently when they make a mistake. None of them have shoes appropriate for dancing, but worn out ones instead. Most of them even are moving barefoot. That means they can't afford to explore their hobbies. This is a middle class working neighborhood after all. Wine is teaching them for free. The realization makes my heart ache in the best way. And she is doing it because she loves the joy on their faces. Her own smile reflects that. She looks so different, but also, I don't know, it's as if she just belongs here. Among those kids, the laughter, the pure joy. I've never felt so happy by just watching someone. My heart has never felt so full seeing someone smile. A soft smile graces my lips as I watch her, and the next thing I know, an hour passes in a blink. They sit down on the grass, panting a bit, but smiles on their faces intact. My heart skips a beat as she laughs loudly at some joke one of the kids made. Never knew the spoiled princess had this side to her. A pang of regret and guilt goes through me as I remember the way I snapped at her in the morning, and the realization of her showing me the glimpses of the person she is with these kids makes me curse myself. Had I judged her too quickly? I treated her like an asshole all these months. The person whom I consider important betrayed me, and I hurt the person who perhaps considers me important. Someone worth spending time with, someone worth talking to, someone worth taking efforts for. I'm not stupid enough not to notice everything she does. I will talk to her tomorrow. Yes, I just hope that not all of this is fake. I can no longer lie to myself that I don't care about her or that I don't feel anything about her. What if she is just doing this to help me? Those lingering touches, cheeky smiles, and flirty remarks. I have started cherishing them. I don't want them to be fake. That night, lying in my bed, I try not to let the what ifs get to me. I try to just trust my heart. I wasn't supposed to fall for her charms. I had shut my heart to anyone else more than 6 months ago. But then a disaster named Lee Wine walked into my life, and here we are. She burst through the walls I built so carefully and made me weak with her damn smile. A smile that I cannot go without for a moment now. Lee Wine, you would be the death of me. Author's point of view. Baby, stopping the task in her hand, Vine looked up to see Jimin walking toward her with urgency, with a small smile on his lips. He looked different, at peace. No one could guess he barely slept the previous night. Did he just call me baby in front of everyone here? She blinked, closing her locker shut. Students passed to and fro in the corridor, the usual chatter distant from her ears. She could only focus on her boyfriend. He wasn't the one for PDA, so it was a surprise to see him using the term of endearment without the underlying sarcasm. She expected a greeting at most when he reached near her, but what he did next froze her. Arms wound around her waist, warmth seeped into her bones as he pressed his face into her shoulder. his breath brushing against her neck. A quiet sigh left him and his grip tightened. They have hugged before. They have even held hands, had passed a kiss on the cheek when his ex was looking to get her off him. But all that was for show, a part of the deal that they had made. But this felt real. Too real. He was holding her if she were his only anchor in the storm. Her heart thudded against his. His fingers brushed against the bare skin peeking from her crop top, and her back arched before she melted into him, her arms wrapping around his neck. He pressed his face deeper into her neck, inhaling her amber sandalwood scent. His heart settled, and the world around him disappeared just by being in her arms. The warmth was maddening. She was soft everywhere, and his grip tightened every second, but was still gentle enough to not to hurt her. They fit like a missing puzzle piece. He remembered the first time she had hugged him. He had been awkward but hadn't wanted to let go. He realized now why. Nothing felt calmer and safer than her embrace. A few minutes passed, and he still didn't let go. What's gotten into him today? Her ears heated up as she heard a few chuckles from the passing students. She swore she even heard some of them whispering, cute. Vine pushed at his chest gently, and only then did he let her go, reluctantly. Jimin's hand stayed on her waist as he stepped back and gave her a soft smile. Stupid him, and damn his stupid smile. She cursed as butterflies erupted in her stomach, seeing his eyes disappear due to the apple of his cheeks when he smiled. Jimin, good morning, baby. Did you sleep well? He tucked a strand of her hair behind her ear, and she just stared at him, bewildered. He raised his eyebrows and she blinked, clearing her throat. Nodding her head, she pulled back from him, adjusted her bag, and turned to get to her class. Wine, we'll get late. It's Professor Min's class first. She muttered and he nodded, his smile dimming a little as a cloud of disappointment passed through his eyes. Placing his hands with hers, he started walking to the lecture hall with her. His behavior yesterday had hurt her, and she wasn't the one to forgive so easily, even if she had always overlooked his difference for so many months. Another surprise hit her as he willingly sat beside her in the class. She had tried her best to concentrate, but her pulse raced as his hand landed on her thigh, leaving a searing warmth on her skin. Wine, what do you think you're doing? She hissed under her breath, her face in the front as Professor Min solved a problem. She rolled her eyes as she glanced at him to see him giving her an innocent look. Jimin, concentrating on the lecture, baby. But then her breath hitched as he leaned closer when Professor Min's back was facing the class. His breath hit her neck and the heat radiating off him made her toes curl. Jimin, but I'm failing, as my pretty girlfriend is such a good distraction. His hand squeezed her thigh once, and she shut her eyes as he placed a quick warm kiss on her cheek. A soft gasp escaped her parted lips, and he chuckled lowly. The rumble sent heat pooling low in her stomach, and she tried to shift away from him, but he didn't let her. He leaned back to his seat, his hand not moving an inch, his grip firm and surprisingly warm. Vine's words died in her throat and she tried to focus on the lecture. But she couldn't because of the small soft circles he kept rubbing on her skin with the pad of his thumb. When she stared at him, he just winked. Park Jimin, the ice prince, winked at her. She didn't make eye contact for the rest of the lecture, too afraid he would hear her heartbeat. Her face didn't change back to its normal color until lunchtime. Wine. Okay, what is up with you? she asked, finally at her breaking point as he sat down with their lunch. Jimin, what do you mean? He chuckled, pushing her tray toward her, and she crossed her arms, giving him a deadpan look. He sighed, never the one with resilience against her looks. He raised his hands in surrender and fished for something in his pockets. When he finally found it, a smile graced his lips, and he forwarded it to her. Her eyes widened in surprise, a delighted smile taking place on her lips for the first time since morning. Jimin, for you. I know, it's your favorite one. He spoke softly, and she wasted no time in grabbing the chocolate from him. Wine, where did you find it? It's always sold out, she asked, unwrapping the bittersweet treat and hummed after taking a bite. His eyes traced her every movement, and he was glad he could get her smile back, even if for a moment. Jimin, I have my ways. I wanted to apologize about yesterday. I won't give any excuses for taking out my frustration on you. I'm sorry, man. Let me make it up to you, baby.